Hi, it's Imogen here. I am the creator of the Body Intelligence programs. If you've not met me before, I'm trained in the Alexander technique, and I help women use their body and their mind, to get to the theme of today, to help them reduce stress and tension so they can be more at ease, confident, all those things. And I wanted to talk today about the mind-body connection. So I had a little bit of a provocative title, but there's a reason for that. And before we even get to that, I just want to say I'm using a new technology to do this video. So I probably won't be responding to any comments immediately, although I do see them coming in. I was thinking that I wouldn't. So hi, Ali, and hi, Kay. Nice to see you here. But for the most part, I may not be able to respond, but I will definitely get to comments afterwards. And so if you're watching on the replay also, I will get to your comments, and I would love to hear from you. So as I was saying, the title of this video was a little bit provocative, but there was a reason for that. And I've been thinking a lot about the mind-body connection recently. And the reason that I say there is no mind-body connection, which might seem a little bit odd coming from me, is that when we say connection, it actually speaks to them being separate things that are connected, right? And what I believe is it's much more than connection, that it's mind-body unity, that mind and body are just different aspects of our whole self. And it's a way that we speak about it to maybe make sense of it, but also just thinking out loud. The kind of history, especially in the West, very much was thinking of mind and body being very separate things. So F.M. Alexander, who was the founder of the Alexander technique, basically, he called his work psychophysical. And so we're talking about psychophysical unity, mind-body unity. So the first point is that exactly that our language speaks to separation, but these things, our mind, our emotions, our thoughts, our breath, our body, our sense of self, spirit, all of that, it's all one. It's all one whole thing. And these are just different aspects of our whole self and ways of talking about different aspects of our whole self. So to make it a little bit clearer, and I'm just referring to notes, a few things I jotted down to make sure that I don't forget any of the things I wanted to go through today. But to make it a little clearer for yourself right now, I thought we could just do a little exploration with our thinking, which is something I often do with new clients or maybe in a workshop. And we'll see how this works. And so if you have feedback for me on it, pop it in the comments. Like I say, I may not see it until afterwards, but I will respond to you. So the first thing I'd like you to do is I'm going to say some words for you to think to yourself, and think those words to yourself in exactly how I say them. Think them over just 2 or 3 times. And I want you to notice as you're thinking them, what happens in your body or even your emotions, but maybe mainly physically, looking at maybe more toward that aspect. But anything that you notice that happens to you when you think this thought. So the first one I want you to try out is, I have to do it right and I have to do it fast. So just think that to yourself, see what you notice. I have to do it right and I have to do it fast. I have to do it right and I have to do it fast. And then let that thought go. I'll come back to that in a minute. We're going to try on a different thought. So this time I want you to think to yourself, I can't do it, I give up. So you're just thinking those words to yourself and seeing what you notice happens in your body, mind, self, but maybe mainly in the physical aspect. So again, just thinking 2 or 3 times, I can't do it, I give up. I can't do it, I give up. I can't do it, I give up. And then we'll just let that go. Probably quite a relief, maybe. And finally, I've got one other thought for you to try out. And that is, I'm at ease in myself and have all the time I need. So just think that to yourself 2 or 3 times. I am at ease in myself and have all the time I need. I am at ease in myself and have all the time I need. And notice what happened when you thought that to yourself. So just to acknowledge that this little exploration I got originally from a wonderful Alexander teacher called Mead Andrews. And I just use it a lot. It's very useful. And if you're like most of the people that I have worked with, you'll have noticed with the first thought, I have to do it right and I have to do it fast. I've actually noticed even saying it, because I'm a mind, body, whole person self, it's hard to say that in a really easeful way. I notice tension. Some people notice a lot of tension in their neck. They might notice a pulling in. There's all sorts of things that you might notice, but there's probably some sort of physical excess tension that happens. Some people kind of notice their heart beating a little faster. So I'd love to hear what you experienced. And for the second one, I can't do it, I give up. I noticed that myself on screen a little bit. I don't know if you picked up on that, but I went down a little bit. I give up, right? It wasn't as exaggerated as that, but it was a little bit of that there. So there was a bit of collapse, which actually is another form of tension. But also thinking emotionally, we can kind of maybe a little bit of disengagement. I actually have had people say they can't even entertain that thought, which is understandable. And yet there are times when it is absolutely the appropriate thing to give up something. So just saying that there's time for everything sometimes. And then the third thought, which also may seem challenging and not possible, I am at ease in myself and have all the time I need. But time can be such a huge stressor. And if we give ourselves a little bit of time, usually people say they were able to breathe, they felt a little bit more relaxed. So my point is, this is just thoughts that I just told you to think, kind of unrelated to what might be going on in your life right now. But just by the fact of you thinking them, something changed in your whole system, your whole mind, body, self. And many of those things you probably noticed were physical things, but emotional too. And how do we know we're having emotions? Because we can feel our heart beating, or it's a physical expression of the emotion. It's all tied in, and language is inadequate to describe, really, I'm finding, because all the language I use in a way points to separation, because I'll say this thought or this way of being aware affects your body, but it's more than that. It's happening simultaneously, all at the same time, and cognitively we maybe catch on only afterwards. It's going on under the surface. So if anyone has any suggestions for language around this, I'd be really interested to hear, because it's quite challenging to talk about in a way that really gets this idea of whole happening all together, all at the same time, thoughts, body, emotions, all together as one. So I'm just checking my notes here. So yes, so I think it's pretty obvious, I hope, from that exploration, that that our thinking is not in this void separate from the rest of us, that everything else is involved, and the physical manifestation can be very small or it can be huge, right? And just to point out that it happens, and even when I say both way rounds, talks like it's separate, but in so in workshops we might explore trying on different postural sets or ways of moving and see how that affects how we feel emotionally, all sorts of things. It's all happening at once. And I am seeing some comments from Shay. Thanks, Shay. So Shay was definitely noting that the negative thoughts were deflating and the gentle thoughts felt soothing and encouraging. But the last one, I love this that you wrote, Shay, is that you talked about a synergistic effect. That's really, yes, it's thank you. Perfect word. Thank you. So that's great. That really brings me back to my main point, that we are a whole, and having this idea of unity and wholeness, and that we can't be thinking stressful thoughts and be calm over here at the same time. That's sort of impossible. But the positive news is that we can choose, kind of as we did when we were exploring those thoughts earlier, we can choose to think in certain ways, knowing that that has that positive, helpful effect on our whole body, breath, being, mind, self, and we can use ways of thinking and changing how we shift our awareness in the moment to help us feel more comfortable, less tense in our bodies, more at ease, more confident. So there's many positive ways we can use this information, and that is basically the essence of what my work is all about, what body intelligence is all about, that we can learn to use our body and mind, our body, mind, self, in a way that helps calm our nervous system, helps us move more freely and easily, helps us be less reactive and feel and even be perceived as more confident. Because when we're calmer, more whole, expressing ourselves in a more whole, expansive, calm way, we come across as more confident. And of course, that's two ways. We're feeling more confident too, and we come across as more confident. So it's all synergistic. Thank you again, Shay. It's all integrated. It's all at once at the same time. So if you're not, if this really interests you, obviously it really interests me, but if this really interests you and you're not in my Facebook group, the Body Intelligence Community, yet, it's completely free. I really invite you to join it. I post kind of tips and inspiration on these sorts of things, ideas to help you, your whole body, mind, self, kind of benefit and make the most of this understanding, make the most of using this mind, this aspect of our whole self to help our whole self. In fact, on Thursday mornings, I, in the group, guide a very short mini meditation that I call a power pause. And it's really a way to take time to be with our whole selves and think the sort of thoughts and have the sort of awareness that benefits our whole self. So I'd really invite you to join and just see what one of those is like. Try that out. Just checking my notes here. Sometimes we share gratitude, appreciation for things in life, remind us to take care of yourself, self-care. All of that goes on in the group. I'll put that link in the comments for anyone interested, so you can join. And that's it. Anything else that you have thoughts on this whole idea of mind-body unity, and how we can talk about it or think about it in ways that's helpful and helps lessen the ideas of separation. I'd be really interested to hear if you have any insights on that. And I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up for today. It's a huge topic, obviously. Again, please let me know how you got on with the thought explorations we did earlier. And please join my group. I'll put that I'll put that link in the comments, and enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.